On a chilly October morning in 1987, a hunter walking along the edge of a rural highway in Oklahoma stumbled across something strange. At first, he thought it was just a pile of discarded clothes, but as he got closer, he froze. Beneath the brush lay the remains of a young woman. Her life had ended violently, and her identity was a mystery. For decades, she was known only as the Highway Jane Doe. No one knew her name. No one came forward to claim her, and for years, her story was buried under the weight of unanswered questions. But nearly 35 years later, technology and persistence would finally give her back her identity. The scene was unsettling. The young woman's body was found just off Interstate 40, partially concealed by branches. Investigators determined she had been there for several weeks. Her clothing was minimal, suggesting she had been redressed or discarded hurriedly. An autopsy revealed she had died from blunt force trauma, but the details were vague. One thing was clear: this wasn't an accident, it was homicide. Investigators scoured the area but found no identification, no purse, no wallet. Dental records were preserved. Her fingerprints were taken. But in 1987, without a name to match them to, she was just another Jane Doe. At the time, investigators chased every possible lead. They compared her dental records to missing persons reports in Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, and beyond. They examined the fabrics of her clothing. They collected her jewelry, a small silver ring that seemed like it should mean something to someone. But every search ended in disappointment. She wasn't in the National Missing Persons database. She wasn't in fingerprint systems. Her family, if they were looking, hadn't reported her missing. Years passed. Her case grew cold, and Highway Jane Doe became another nameless victim, her story gathering dust in evidence rooms. Over the years, theories swirled. Some thought she might have been a runaway, cut off from her family. Others believed she could have been involved in hitchhiking or sex work, making her harder to track. But no theory fit perfectly. Investigators and volunteers created facial reconstructions, hoping someone would recognize her features. Billboards were placed along highways. Newspaper sketches circulated in the 1990s. Still, no one came forward. The young woman's identity remained a mystery, and her case was all but forgotten. By the 2000s, forensic technology was advancing. In 2019, the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation partnered with the Doe Project, a nonprofit that uses genetic genealogy to identify unknown victims. Her remains were exhumed and her DNA carefully extracted. With the help of forensic genealogists, her profile was uploaded to public ancestry databases. Slowly, distant relatives began to appear. Third cousins, fourth cousins, strands of family trees stretching back decades. Piece by piece, genealogists began building her identity. And then, after months of work, they found her family. In February 2021, authorities announced that Highway Jane Doe was finally identified as Kelly Roberts, a 19-year-old from Wichita, Kansas. Kelly had grown up in a difficult household. Friends described her as sweet, quiet, and artistic. She loved drawing and dreamed of leaving her small town behind, but life wasn't easy for her. In the summer of 1987, Kelly left home, telling her sister she was going to visit friends in Oklahoma. That was the last time anyone saw her alive. For reasons still unknown, Kelly never returned. Her family assumed she had started a new life elsewhere. They never reported her missing. For 34 years, they lived without answers. With Kelly's name restored, investigators turned their attention to the question that had haunted them since 1987: who killed her? Unfortunately, the trail was ice cold. Leads from that time were long gone. Witnesses had disappeared. Evidence had degraded. But with Kelly's name now known, detectives began retracing her last movements. They discovered she had been seen with an older man at a truck stop near Oklahoma City shortly before her death. His name was never recorded, and his identity remains a mystery. Authorities believe Kelly may have fallen victim to a transient predator, someone who targeted vulnerable young women along highways. The case is still open, and though Kelly finally has her name back, justice remains elusive. For more than 3 decades, Kelly Roberts was forgotten, just another Jane Doe in a file cabinet. But thanks to science and the dedication of people who refuse to give up, she is no longer nameless. Her family now knows what happened. They finally have a grave to visit, a name to say, and a daughter, sister, and friend to remember. Kelly's story is a reminder of the importance of forensic genealogy and the power of never giving up on cold cases. Every Jane Doe is someone's daughter, someone's sister, someone who deserves to be remembered. And thanks to this breakthrough, Kelly Roberts' story will never be forgotten again.